Welcome back to MMA Unhinged, and joining us today is Anton Potocki. Anton, how are you, and how are you feeling as we're just about a month out from your fight?
Hey, Luca. Thanks for having me. Feeling great. Training hard. We're in the peak of training. We're in the trenches right now, but that's where I love it. So we're working hard, and I'm ready for the fight.
Yeah, well, you're just talking about you're in the trenches there. You're in your last month. So how's fight camp going? Are you just wrapping things up, or are you sparring? What's the last stage of your fight camp here?
Yeah. So we're just under like 4 weeks out, or about 3 weeks out now. So we're kind of in the peak of, you know, main preparations. Conditioning's at its highest ramping right now. We're going to be training hard for another good couple weeks or so. I dial it back about the week of the fight. That's when we kind of bring it back, and then just kind of more work the eyes and reaction time. Don't want to obviously burn yourself out the week of your fight, but yeah, right now we're just everything's at full blast, full volume. So.
Excellent to hear. And before I go any further, some people may or may not know, outside of fighting, you're also a tattoo artist at Dying Wish. Talk a little bit about that. Was it fighting or inking that started first?
Yeah, so I'm a tattoo artist at a Dying Wish Tattoo in Cambridge, also where same town where I train. Fighting came first. I started training martial arts when I was about 17 or 18 years old. The person who taught me how to tattoo, Nick Taylor, is a really close friend of mine. He's was also a training partner. He trained at my academy, and that's where I met him. And we were always great friends. And over the years, we always talked about me learning how to tattoo, just because I have an art background, and I do love I love tattoos, obviously. So we always talked about me learning how to tattoo, and then you know one year it just kind of happened. We talked about it, and I started apprenticing under him, and the rest is history. But yeah, so fighting came first, but it's interesting how it all kind of tied together, because I found tattooing through my martial arts academy. So it's fighting came first, but tattooing is very much part of it for me.
And obviously, with any fighter, you need to rest your body, but you also need to rest your mind. So when you're tattooing and when you have clients, obviously it's something you enjoy. So is this something that also gives you a kind of a peace of mind? Does it kind of put your mind at rest and kind of leave training here, tattooing here?
Yeah, it's definitely meditative. I live a dual life. I go from being a tattoo artist to being a fighter, and back and forth. Um, Doing one gives me a break from the other, but I find they do kind of go hand in hand in a way. People might not understand how art and combat sports would relate to one another, but man, I really feel like they do kind of they're very similar in the sense where at its highest level it is an expression of yourself. And that's what I strive to do in fighting and in tattooing. I just try to express myself creatively, athletically. I always want to put out my signature in everything that I do. That's why working the desk job didn't work for me, and going to college didn't really work for me. It was just I just feel my drive in life is to express myself and to be my authentic self, and fighting and tattooing allows me to do that. I don't know if that answers your question, but tattooing definitely is meditative, and it gives me a break from fighting. Thinking about an opponent or combat, or how I could have got out of that submission in training that day, or how I got caught with that one strike in training. It's nice to switch that off and then just
Mhm.
focus on something that's also creative and self-expressive without getting punched in the head.
Well, for people that may have never got a tattoo before, obviously when you watch tattoo artists, it can get exhausting depending on how long the tattoo was. Obviously for mine, the recent one I got was like 5 hours. So, obviously with tattoos, it can take a long time. So after like maybe like just after training for so long, and then having to do a tattoo on someone, do you find that can be the biggest obstacle doing both jobs?
I've trained martial arts for so long that I'm just kind of used to living at a baseline of being tired and sore. And but yeah, I know it definitely can be, that is definitely a hurdle to overcome, but I feel that I've adjusted. And I, maybe when I first started tattooing, I really felt that. I find I get more tired going from tattoos to going to training. I find sometimes tattooing can be mentally draining, and then knowing that after a tattoo, I have to go to the gym and do some conditioning or sparring or whatever. So um, maybe the fact that I've fought longer than I've tattooed, maybe that's why it's easier for me to to get into training and to not feel the effects of training more so than the mental exhaustion of tattooing. And obviously tattooing, it's hard on your shoulders and your hands and your hips and things like that. um I don't know, it's a good question. I would say that I would say that I'm just used to it now. This is just my life. I don't look at my life as having two jobs. It's just a lifestyle, and I'm used to just living that life and having ups and downs of being tired and also being in the zone. So again, I don't know if that answers your question, but
No, that's excellent. And one more thing before I move on. Obviously, you got the one sleeve, you got the one on the chest. Do you plan on getting the left sleeve done?
yeah, definitely. I get tattooed by I have a few different artists that I've worked with, but the artist that did my arm, his name's Maru. So shout out to Maru at Hidden Door Tattoo in Toronto. He's amazing. He does specializes in traditional Japanese work. I do want to get another sleeve from him in the future. I have a hard time taking time off from training, but I also, when I'm committed to a goal like getting a sleeve, I bang it out. So I know I'm gonna have to commit, but when I do commit, it will be Maru. That's who will be doing the next sleeve. I don't know what I'm getting yet, but he'll figure something out. It's gonna be awesome.
Excellent. And moving on to BTC Fight Promotions, you signed a fight contract with them. What was it that prompted your decision to sign a fight contract with them? And what do you like about the promotion so far?
So yeah, it feels like it's been a long time coming. I've been a big fan of BTC and the fighters that have come through BTC. Some of Canada's best have fought for BTC. I've had training partners and friends in the MMA community that have fought for BTC. I know I'm in good term. Well, now, I mean, I work for them, but I mean, I'm aware and I know many of the people who work behind the scenes on BTC. So I'm friends with a lot of guys who run it. And yeah, it's just an honor to be able to fight for BTC. I've always wanted to, and now that I'm fighting professionally, the opportunity came up, and I was looking to fight right away. I had a setback at the end of last year. I sustained an injury, and I had to pull out of a fight, and then I'm all healed up now, obviously, but it's after that opportunity wasn't able to come to fruition, then this BTC opportunity came. And I believe that, the universe works in mysterious ways and presents opportunities that you deserve. And sometimes not being able to, missing out on one goal maybe so that it makes way for something even better. So I believe that's what happened, and that's why I signed with BTC. The opportunity arose, and I grabbed it. I believe everything happens for a reason, and I'm excited to perform at BTC. I feel like it's my home.
Well, and I mean, talk about opportunity. A lot of their fights are in Mississauga area, GTA area, obviously around Cambridge. This one being Kingston. So, how fortunate are you just be able to be already in the area? You don't have to travel much. That is quite the opportunity is as itself.
Yeah, that's another big reason as to why I was excited to join and become a part of BTC. Was the fact that I was able to fight for like my hometown people and for the people that are at least close to me. I have friends
Mhm.
and family all over Ontario, and it's definitely exciting to know that I can still fight for them. My previous professional fights, they took place in Toronto, so I was able to get a big crowd out. And obviously Kingston's a little bit farther of a hike, but I still have lots of people who are going to be able to make the trip, as opposed to, say, if I was fighting in the States or even out of province. So um, it's definitely motivating having all your friends and family and fans out there watching you live. So yeah, no, it means a lot to be able to perform for my friends and family, and to be able to fight for a promotion that uh, builds up local fighters like myself.
course, of course. Let's talk about BTC 23. Shi Lao, your next opponent. Um, he's had a lot of fights in amateur, but this is his pro debut. You obviously remember your pro debut. Everybody gets the nerves. Some people do, some people don't. But looking at this guy, what do you feel you will do in this fight to make him the most uncomfortable in his pro debut?
Yeah, I mean, all respect to my opponent. He's a very well-rounded fighter, and he has skills everywhere. He's not a one-dimensional fighter. He's very well-rounded. And oh, are you there? Sorry, the
All
video
good.
cut out for a second. All right, cool, cool.
No
Um,
worries.
yeah, so he's a very well-rounded fighter, and he's been tested everywhere. And obviously, I've watched footage of his fights, and I think that the big thing is to show that I'm better than him everywhere because I'm a well-rounded fighter. I have skills everywhere, and that's going to be what my goal is to just be better than him everywhere, and to show him that there's levels to this game. And despite his amateur experience and despite everything that he has accomplished in the cage, um, I'm a different animal, and I'm going to show him that there's levels to every aspect of this game, and that I am at a higher level in every aspect of this game.
And obviously, I'm not going to ask you if you want to finish. Every fighter wants one. But looking at this matchup, how would you like to finish this fight? What's your ideal finish?
Honestly, for me, yeah, the finish is everything. I'm not a fighter that looks to win on points or to eke out a decision. As my record shows, I do look for the finish.
Hmm.
Um, you know, my background. I started off as a Muay Thai fighter. I have a 40 plus Muay Thai fights. I have provincial, national, and North American titles. Um, but as I've transitioned into MMA, and as the years have gone by, and I've fallen in love with every aspect of the game, my grappling is just as much a tool of mine as my striking, as I've shown, as all my fights have ended in submission. Some people are still waiting to see my striking in the cage, even though those who know me know that my striking is just as top notch as my grappling. But honestly, to answer your question, whatever gets the finish. If it stays on the feet and I knock him out, then that's a mission accomplished. If I get it to the ground and I submit him, that's a mission accomplished. But regardless of if it's on the feet or on the ground, I'm looking to finish this fight. I'm looking to put a statement, to make a statement, and I'm looking to leave no questions of of what could have happened, or a finish is an exclamation point. It's a period. It's my only goal when I get in there is to finish the fight. So I can't say specifically what specific move I would like to finish him with, or what submission, or what strike, or what sequence. I don't go in there with too much of a fixation on a submission or a knockout. I find when you hunt for them too long in your mind, sometimes it gets away from you. If you want something too
Hmm.
bad, sometimes it's almost like you're pushing it away. It has to just come. So I just believe that my preparation and my skill set will bring the finishes, whether it's a submission or a strike.
You have high credentials in Muay Thai, obviously, but in your junior career here in MMA, what are things that you've done lately to just continue to improve and to just evolve your game, not to just stay where you are?
So everybody knows, I'm from Mass Academy of Martial Arts. We have the best striking in Canada, I believe. I'm under the tutelage of Crew Chris Q. He's been my head coach, since I started martial arts. But we're
Hmm.
also a Henzo Gracie affiliation. We're Team Henzo Gracie Jiu Jitsu. I've been utilizing that resource. I train at the Submission Academy in London under Professor Steve Poulin. He's been a valuable asset in my camp, in my preparation, and his team out there. He's Team Henzo Gracie as well, so I'm always welcome there, and I train there regularly. From on the other end of things, I train also at OAMA, Ottawa Academy of Martial Arts. I've made trips out there and worked with Hammer Hache and his crew out there. Um, and then through my coach Chris, we have other connections. Crew Jeff Harrison at Fight Factory in Ottawa. I was able to work with him and Matteo Vogel. So all through Mass, I have connections to so many strong teams and coaches and training partners. And I think the key to continuing to grow in this game is aiming to not be the best person in the room. Surround yourself with people that are better than you in certain aspects of the game. My goal is to just learn from everybody, and I'm fortunate enough to have, a team with such a big reach as far as like connections and affiliations that allow me the opportunity to train with really high level people. And as you can see, I've been getting my licks in, getting my good rounds in, taking my ass whoopings, because I believe we train hard so that we fight easy. And I believe that this camp has been that, working with, the best that I believe Canada has to offer. My MMA coach is Sid Barnier, who, has his own high credentials in MMA and striking. And, obviously, like I said, Steve Poulin, Chris Q, Jeff Harrison. I'm surrounded by killers. So that's how I'm continuing to grow, is to learn from the best.
And plans after the fight. Do you have a cheat meal in mind? Do you have anything planned for after the fight, or planned for 2024 besides fighting?
Of course. That's the most crystal clear thing in my mind, other than winning, is after my fights, all I want is a kiss from my wife and a slice of pizza, and then I'm good. Other than that, whatever the team wants to do, whether they want to go celebrate or we go back to the hotel, I could give a shit. But I want that slice of pizza. That's for sure.
And after the fight, every fight that you've had, when you've cut all that weight, how much weight do you cut, by the way?
The thing is that I live the martial arts lifestyle. I eat healthy all year round. I don't get too far away from my fight weight. I probably enter camp around 139, 140 ish, and then I kind of just taper down from there. And it's a gradual decrease in weight. I don't like to cut too much weight, and I don't like to lose too much weight throughout camp. I try to just eat healthy and maintain an athletic weight, and so that the camps aren't spent losing weight, or cutting a bunch of weight to possibly compromise my my performance the following day. I work with a nutritionist, Quentin Nurse. Shout out to Dr. Quentin Nurse. He's my nutritionist. He's amazing. I've been working with him for my pro career. He's a good friend of mine, and he handles everything behind the scenes. But he keeps me strong and healthy and recovering, and makes the weight cuts pretty easy. So yeah, to be honest with you, I really don't have to cut that much weight. There is a weight cut, obviously, and but I handle it like a professional, and I'm not compromised by it in any way, shape, or form. And I always come in on fight day in the best shape of my life.
So no problems with like post like cheat meals or anything. Everything. You don't have any problems after having like a cheat meal or anything. Like you're good, or.
Yeah, you know what? The day after the fight, there's usually a tummy ache of some sort. I'm not gonna lie.
Of course.
My nutritional guidelines go out the window for a couple of days at least, and but yeah, I definitely I relax after the fight for a week or two, and spend time with family, eat all the things that I didn't get to eat before. But again, I live that martial arts lifestyle. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke or anything like that. I don't really eat that much junk food. I just I like feeling good. It's not just about fighting for me. It's just about living healthy. And I like being able to wake up in the morning without a hangover, and not feeling gross from a poor choice of dinner the night before. But I'll definitely I'll have a few cheat meals here and there after the fight. But I like to eat healthy and feel good. So I'm not really worried about it.
And Anton, just lastly, any plans for 2024 outside of fighting, outside of the tattoo parlor? What's going on in life?
Plans for 2024. I mean, obviously, I want to be active this year. My goal was to be active last year. I had 2 fights back to back, and then there were from injuries to shows being canceled to opponents pulling out. It just kind of, unfortunately, the circumstances didn't allow me to fight as much as I'd like last year. And then I was supposed to fight the beginning of this year, but again, an injury unfortunately set me back. So I'm excited to sign with BTC and be active with them. I'd like to fight at least 3 times this year. You know, God willing, I'm healthy and injury free and everything works out. But yeah, I'd like to fight at least 3 times this year. I'm always looking to tattoo as much as possible, you know, because I love it, not because I need to, and I enjoy what I do. And it's the perfect job. You know, it allows me to make my own schedule, train whenever I want. You know, I feel for guys who have to work a full-time job and it takes away from their training, and maybe they wouldn't be able to reach certain levels of their athletic career because they didn't have the ability to train as hard as they could. But I do because, again, I make my own schedule. So I'm very fortunate, and it makes me love tattooing even more that it doesn't hold me back from the other side of my life, which is, you know, which is fighting, because I'm both a fighter and a tattoo artist, and I'm never going to pick between the two, luckily, because I don't have to. So, yeah, as far as my goals, it's really based around fighting and tattooing, and you know, obviously spending lots of time with my girls. I have a wife and a daughter, and they're everything to me. So I want to spend lots of time with them, and yeah, just live the life I've been living. I live my life, and I want to continue to do that.
Excellent. Well, I don't want to take too much more of your time, Anton. I know you're in your last month of training camp here, so I just want to thank you again for taking the time to come on here tonight to chat about your fight. And we love MMA Unhinged. Would love to have you back on. So good luck on in March, and we'll see you again soon.
Hey, Luke, thank you so much for having me. I'd love to be back on. I really appreciate the time to hear me out. Really quick, I just wanted to shout out to just a few of my people. Again, obviously, Mass Academy of Martial Arts, Submission Academy, Ottawa Academy of Martial Arts, and Fight Factory, and Fifth Round Martial Arts. I know it's a long-winded list of teammates, but I got a lot of people behind me, and I just want to voice how much I appreciate them. And just really quickly, Bearing Communications and Hadouken Athletics, they've been supporting me since I started fighting, and I really appreciate the love and support of my sponsors and my whole team.
Excellent, Anton. Well, we'll talk again soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Luke.